This is the RIOT Podcast. Hi, guys.
Happy Wednesday, or whenever, no pressure, you might be listening to this.
Yeah, actually, no. If today's not Wednesday, hit pause. Wait until the next Wednesday becomes available.
No, I know.
And come back to this podcast.
A lot of you listen to it on the day it comes out, either in the afternoon, or we'll see more responses the following day, like if you watch it in the morning or something.
All right, so let's talk about what's happening here. You get to listen to me whine about McDonald's.
Yes.
That could almost be its own podcast.
Yes, it could.
You know, once a week there's an episode about the terrible time I had at McDonald's that morning.
Or not even just McDonald's. I think whining or talking about with fast food, it could be its own.
It could be its own podcast. And it's a bummer that we have so much material. But yeah, we go to fast food a lot. Whatever.
What are you going to do about it?
What's not to like? It's quick and you eat it.
And you do it too.
I don't want to hear about it. Let's see. So we got that. We talk about some baseball. That's not normal for us. The royal wedding. Coffee talk, freestyle talk. I went to a video store. Like a video store.
A rental store.
Like where you go in and, you know, Nikki, the ones that are on the wall, they're $1 for 5 days.
You can have it for $1?
$1 for 5 days.
For a Blu-ray?
Blu-ray.
Well.
Wow.
But I don't want to drive there.
No, you don't.
I'd rather spend $5, so I'm just having it for $1 a day.
Well, I'd rather spend $35 and get the 4K Blu-ray.
Blu-ray 5.
What a savings. Wow.
Well, we talk about that.
We do. The Inside Generation, Can Nikki Quit Amazon? And the show will wrap up with me talking about laughing at my own joke.
Enjoy.
I wasn't going to talk about that. The thing we were going to talk about in that space was how we're eating such a late lunch today.
We have a really late lunch, and it's almost like we have to have a pre-lunch. And some people say you should be eating small meals anyways throughout the day.
What if you just ate 6 regular-sized meals?
Well, I don't know, but I'm hungry, and I'm a little grumpy already. And
well, that's great.
I don't want to wait until that time we have this practically a dinner. It is. It's practically a dinner.
It's Christmas dinner. That's how close it is. Like, it's practically Christmas dinner.
I don't know if we'll make it. We'll see. If we don't come back tomorrow.
I mean, I think we'll live, but I think it's going to be an angry lunch.
Yeah,
and I think
don't like that.
We come back from it having to maybe take the day off tomorrow.
Well, you guys enjoy the podcast.
Tempers can cool.
Don't forget to join us at RadioU RIOT on Facebook and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you there. Have a fantastic day.
Mm-hmm. It is the RIOT.
Baby's crying. Nails on a chalkboard. Your girlfriend saying, we need to talk. The worst of the riot. Yep, it really is that bad on RadioU.
You know, you don't want to make official pronouncements because you always end up backing them down. You're like, well, from now on, blank, but then it never stays that way because you end up saying, like, well,
you go back and do something else.
You know, like, whatever. But I think I may actually really need to be done with McDonald's in the morning because, you know, I took probably 8 or 9 months where McDonald's was off the menu.
You had a big break from it.
Yeah, no, whatever. But then I have gone back to once a week, you're allowed to have breakfast out because I'm really treating myself, guys. But,
well, you are worth it no matter what.
Right. So I've gone back to that. Where like once a week, if I want to hit McDonald's, I can. And it has been an unmitigated disaster the entire time I've been trying to do this.
Are you still keeping it at once a week? Or are we crossing over that? Or?
No. It's not me. Don't for a second think that I'm the squeaky wheel in the cogs that's causing the problem. No. 3 McDonald's between my house and RadioU no longer serve breakfast, I guess. At least not before 6 a.m.
Like they're not open?
The lights are out. It's out. So we already had that story where I went to McDonald's after McDonald's and had no luck. Then I found another one that is open. And so this morning, I went there last week and seemingly did okay. But this morning, I go up. They take my order. Fine. They take my money. Fine. I pull up to the window, the second window. You know, where the real magic happens.
the handout.
The taking the money, not that impressive. It's that part where the food comes out the window. That's the magic moment. All that other stuff, it's all just support infrastructure for that moment when they hand me the greasy bag.
And it's almost like you wish they wouldn't take the money until the food was already ready to make sure that you're not just sitting there not getting your items while you've already paid.
At the very least, I understand that, like, for I don't know, whatever. But there was a time in McDonald's history where you paid the person who handed you your food. They should do that again because they took my money and I went up to the window And for 10 minutes.
How do you sit for 10 minutes at the window? How does that happen?
So the window's just open.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. At one point, I see like the bag with my sandwich. I don't know where it came from, but it just like appeared on this little ledge. But nobody.
No one to hand it to you?
Finally, this lady comes from the back and walks up, and this police officer walks in, and she starts talking to him. And I was like, oh, something bad must have happened. And then she's just talking to him. And then, then she keeps answering her phone while she's talking to him. And I thought, okay.
I just want my food.
Even eye contact at this point would really be something.
You didn't say, hey, ma'am?
Well, this was, I think, at the 7-minute mark. And if she was talking to anyone but a cop,
sure, you would
I probably would have been like, hey. But I'm like, what is happening? I don't know. And then finally, this lady who obviously was not supposed to be working the window comes around and hands me my sandwich. And I was like,
you're
you
like,
know
this
what?
Never again.
I got to tell you guys, you may be not just off the list. Like this might be it. And just to let you know, that's the last McDonald's.
You're saying this?
Well, no,
what
I'm saying is that there are only, unless I start getting off at different exits, there are only 4 McDonald's between my house and Radio U.
You can go the one over there or the one right there. Don't they both do breakfast?
No, but that's what I'm saying is those are past Radio U. Like all of the routing
unless
that
you go
takes
around.
me, right, I either have to get off at an exit and get back on and come back to Radio U, or I've got to drive past Radio U and then come back. And I got something against that McDonald's because I've choked on their food twice.
Okay, so you're not interested in them.
I'm afraid of what they're doing.
And not even the one down that way? I mean, we have a lot to choose from.
That's one of the ones that's not closed or not open in the morning.
Anymore.
You know why? I don't know. I think people are just getting paid and sitting in the back eating hash browns.
I know you could do this, but you could just have it delivered here at the show so you don't have to deal with any of the issues.
I think that's a great idea, but I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to open that door?
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that has lasting implications that I can't be a part of. Yeah.
You remember that time you started your morning with a gas station breakfast sandwich and immediately regretted it? Yeah, it's like that. The Riot. Radio U.
If Nikki and I were to be suspended without pay for a week, we would find a way to live without that $10.
I think it'd be okay.
But if we were suspended for, let's say, half a season, and for us a season so far has been 50 years, 60 years? How long have we been here? I don't know.
I would count half a season as half a year.
Half a year. So Nikki and I could lose as much as $35 in revenue if we ended up being,
But normally I think if you're at a half a season, you're kind of out, aren't you?
Well,
unless you're in a contract for some sort of sporting thing.
See, that's the other thing we need are contracts. We need to negotiate contracts. That's what needs to happen. That's what happened with Robinson Cano. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right or not, but he's a Seattle Mariner, and he just got suspended for 80 games.
Why even bother? Why bother?
Well, see, he's got a
even though in baseball that's faster.
He's got a $24 million contract.
Jeez.
And he's missing out on what is almost half of that contract.
What did he do?
He tested positive for a drug that was a diuretic. And you're like, well, what's that? It makes you go to the bathroom.
Usually a lot of times to keep your weight down.
Yeah, but in this particular case, it's furosemide. And word on the street is that, let's say you're taking a performance-enhancing substance.
Oh, it'll flush it out.
Well, it flushes it out, and it makes it hard to just in general to detect that. And so with him testing positive for this, which it's a banned substance in the MLB, then
they assume it's because of the steroid stuff.
Mm-hmm. So now he's out $11.85 million.
At least he's not getting paid, because sometimes you hear about, players who will be out for a couple of games and they still get all their money.
Yes.
Or they get a small fine compared to what they're actually making.
Yeah.
But that's a long time. That's like why isn't he even just kick him off the team?
Because
they have his contract.
Yeah. So, he's got at least that much coming to him. So he's from the Dominican Republic. He says that in the Dominican, everybody takes this for a lot of different reasons.
Oh, sure.
There's a lot of different reasons why you would take this.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Come on. Let's not be ridiculous. But it's even that being said.
I just want to hear his reasons for taking the diuretic.
He says, and I quote, various medical conditions.
See, he's not answering, though. I want an answer. That
Nikki,
we were in the meeting.
that's an answer. You're just not satisfied with the answer.
It's not good enough.
If you say, why are you taking it? And he said, because sunshine. That's an answer.
Yes, that's true.
It's just not the answer you're looking for.
Well, we're not taking that for this show's sake. I don't think we will. So we're good.
Well, my thought is that, the Seattle Mariners now have a little money to throw around. And I know a couple of people that, while they may not be great hitters,
in-house announcers.
But I was just going to say, an extra pair of in-house announcers. Think about this. They're the alternative ones.
That's right.
You've got your main guys, and then you have these other ones that,
we're
they're
the B team.
Not as knowledgeable, but could be a great gateway drug to baseball announcing for people that are just there for concessions.
As long as you keep us together and you don't send us to the farm team or whatever.
Yeah, we got to.
I don't want to go down to the other team. We're staying with the professional team.
Man, $11.85 million. I'm always amazed by the idea of hey, you're showing up and probably working just as hard or harder than this guy, but your life is worth a fraction of what his is.
My favorite part of the worst of the riot, when they shut up and the music starts. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Man, I'll tell you what, every passing second brings us closer to the royal wedding.
Is it Saturday already?
Man, I'm just getting so pumped about it.
I was checking some movie times on Saturday, and I was excited to see that at my local theater, I could go and watch the royal wedding if I wanted.
Well, what time does it start?
That I don't remember.
You get together with your fellow Anglophiles and sit in a movie theater eating popcorn watching a wedding?
Can you imagine the difference in theaters between the entire rest of the theater, every other showing is Deadpool, and then you've got this wedding going on in the other one. Just seems very different.
The only reason that the royal wedding is a thing is because girls want to be princesses. Nobody wants to talk about the oppression of the monarchy through the centuries and things they're no, it's fine, because I get to wear a dress and a tiara.
This shows that anyone could become a princess.
You could be a princess. I mean, I'm married now. I could get a divorce and remarry in my late 30s to a prince.
No one wants to think of those ways.
It's not a thing?
No, it's not a thing.
Yeah, I've got this ring from my first marriage, and I sent it in to this website,
and I used first prince.
I used that money to get a ticket to England, where I'm now, 452nd in line for the throne. Dreams are coming true.
Oh, you really know how to sell it, don't you?
Just thinking it through. Nikki, yesterday at Immaculate Heart High School, that's where Meghan Markle graduated from the high schools. They had a little get-together.
Ceremony.
A little party in which they celebrated the upcoming wedding with cookies and tea, lemonade. And so the girls wore their hair super high, which I guess is a British wedding thing. And then they also have all kinds of British flags, and they're just so excited because one day they could be a princess.
How fun.
So that's what they're doing. They had a little party for it yesterday.
I would want to be a princess, but just not for, I think, that country, because I'd want to be one where it's a bit more relaxed and, I could still be an everyday princess. Without the rules. I just don't want the rules.
Tell them the truth.
What?
You want to be a Princess Diaries princess.
Which one's that one?
Oh, don't act like you don't know.
Well, I need a makeover and then I get my own country?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that works.
That's exactly it. And it's got, what's his name in it?
Chris Pine?
It's got Yo Man.
Chris Pine?
Yes.
That seems like a good deal there.
Yo Man.
All right, well, maybe we want that, but I don't want all the drama and all the press and articles and all that stuff.
Nikki wants to be pretty ugly girl who's you know what? When I have my glasses on, I'm ugly, but as soon as my glasses come off, everyone's amazed at how beautiful I am.
And if you apparently just straighten your hair, then that's all you need to do.
I'll tell you what, as a glasses wearer, I'm always thrilled when they do that. They're so ugly with their glasses on, but as soon as they come off, they sure look good.
It's a very fast makeover.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I've taken my glasses off, and it's not getting any better.
Well, if you're watching on Saturday, maybe live tweet it and just let us know so we can watch your inputs and your thoughts on it.
Nikki, you should start like a Discord channel or something, and then everyone can just be in there and talking and chatting and hanging out and wedding-ing together.
While I'm in the theater? Or I should just walk back and forth between Deadpool and that and just to, tweet some of the differences.
Just to let you know, Nikki.
Some observations.
If you really wanted to see Deadpool, you could start the royal wedding, take a break and see Deadpool, and come back and it's still going to be going on.
Oh, yeah, that's probably it.
This is not going to be a 15-minute affair. It's an all-day thing.
It's everything. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to remind you is, remember you liked the Rose Parade, Will Ferrell, and...
Yes.
Was it Molly Shannon?
I don't remember,
the person who used to be on SNL, they did this...
I didn't watch it. I just loved the idea.
Yes, it was like Chord something, and they were doing commentary.
They were mocking the parade, basically.
So they're going to do that on HBO. So they're going to do the commentary for the royal wedding. And I thought that might be funny to watch.
That actually might be funny to watch. And weirdly enough, I now have HBO.
So that's when I noticed that. I thought, he can watch it then.
Can you watch? If you have HBO on Hulu, can you watch it live?
Probably.
Huh.
I'll
have to look at that.
If not, maybe it's still through Amazon by way of HBO.
The Riot has a problem with authority.
It's a little rule. Maybe you're not familiar with it. Nobody tells me what to do, ever.
Now, I'm not saying these events are connected. Because as someone that works at a radio station, I can tell you that promotions are something that you just hear about, like, let's say on a Monday. But what you don't know is that for the last 4 months, that's been on the calendar, and meetings have happened, and lunches took place, and there were phone calls and text messages and emails, and it almost didn't happen, and all this stuff.
Sure, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that you just don't realize.
Right. But when Southwest Airlines makes yet another emergency landing due to and I quote, pressurization event, that's why that lady got sucked out the window. Pressurization event, okay? And then they're having a sale where they're like, hey, it's a getaway sale. Look how cheap. Our airfare's never been cheaper than it is right now.
Southwest does have a slight press problem with this.
Who wants to get on the flight? Woo!
Or is it that low, though? No.
Yeah.
I really could use a vacation.
How low are we talking
I don't
here?
want to have problems with the plane. I would never want that to happen, but, I mean...
you know what? I checked and a couple of locations, and I found some...
it's just all right. I hate when airlines do that.
But you hate Southwest, don't you?
Now,
isn't that
you didn't need to say that out loud, but, I mean, it's not the worst. There's way other worse ones. Like Southwest's partners.
Many of their partner airlines suck also.
They're all terrible.
Okay. Well,
no, Southwest is not bad. It makes you really feel like cattle just being put on the truck to go to the plant.
Really?
I just never liked it.
You know what? From my perspective, I flew Southwest back in September.
Yeah.
And I just thought I had a fantastic time.
Well,
I was
that's good.
The plane is nice. It was working. Everything seemed to be working. And I don't know. I had a positive Southwest experience.
Sure.
For what it's worth. But then again, maybe I was in Zone A or something.
That was a unique situation where you got a good one.
Could have been. Well, over the weekend was when it was Flight 861 headed from Denver to Dallas with 100 passengers on board. The oxygen masks came down. They had to put the oxygen masks on. They ended up all of that stuff.
It'd probably be extra worse because you're sitting there. Not only are you thinking you're going to crash, but then also you were thinking about what happened to the other Southwest flight because you know all those details.
Of course you are.
So that must have just been a terrible experience.
My thought is that, I want to know if it's like they said in Fight Club where everybody starts gasping as they breathe the oxygen, but they get docile. Because it's oxygen?
Well, I think you start praying and trying to say goodbye to everybody. I think it's that sad. You
think so?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Nikki, we're on the Southwest flight.
No, I don't want to play that game.
What are you saying to me?
What am I saying to you?
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm still mad you borrowed Wayne's World for 10 years.
I forgot about that.
I'm still mad about
it. You bought me that silly space camp.
I can't believe you thought I wanted space camp.
But other than that, it's been a really great ride.
Except for this part. This is a bad ride. Poor choice of words. But after all these years, these are the words you're going to hold against me.
This is how we go out. This is it. No, I would not want that to happen, but probably something along those lines. And can I get one more Diet Coke?
Can I get a Diet Coke?
Please, I'm very nervous. Or Sprite.
I wish I would have eaten more. I mean, if I'm going to die in this plane crash, it was all for nothing. Are there any Twinkies on board?
Because then we could all apply that to everyone's life. I don't want to hear that.
You don't want to think that one through?
I don't want to think that at all.
Yeah, I mean, healthy eating, you're just playing the odds. So anyway, Southwest is having a sale.
And that's what we took from all that.
Well, if you want to know, like in my feed, it was like Southwest Airlines sale, 3 things down, Southwest Airlines pressurization event. I'm like, guys, you need to talk to the media about spacing these out.
Because they're too close.
Space them out.
Imagine a world where the Riot never talks and it's glorious RadioU music for hours on end. Now, imagine the opposite of that. You're already there. It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
You know, Nikki, speaking of things that are going out of business, and they're not, by the way, but I'm amazed that they're not. Yesterday, I went in search of 4K Blu-rays. So these are Blu-rays that are 4K, and the
name says it all.
It's all right there, right? So there are a couple of movies that I would like to watch in 4K at home.
Sure.
But I don't necessarily want to go buy them.
Here's a little bit more backstory. Obi got a new TV.
I did.
It's amazing, and it was such a good price.
Crazy deal.
Before we say the size, I think you should always preface with how great the price was. But it's 70 inches, and you said it's 70 inches, HD quality. Can look a little blurry in some cases where 4K might bring that sharpness that you need with such a big size.
That you need.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, Nikki.
Now, normally I would just say, well, you can find it at any of the various online retailers and just download the thing in 4K, but you want a disc.
I wanted to get a disc because that's the highest picture quality available, and I wanted to see that. And if you guys are like, it doesn't matter, well, apparently it matters to me.
So then let him have it.
So
let him
whatever.
have this.
Like, this is my stupid little thing, just like sports are for you. So just let me go.
Oh, come on, guys. It's a guess.
Is that fair?
You're just throwing out stuff.
Okay. So I went in search of this thing, and I found a video store, rental video store
There's still
that
this
is
one?
open
Yeah.
and renting discs.
Dave, the 4K ones?
And it was like stepping back into 2005.
To go into a store and get them?
It was bizarre. It's Family Video, which apparently is open everywhere. They've got stores all over the United States. And I walk in, and this is the part I love. There are 2 ladies working there. Don't even talk to me. Don't even look at me. It was just like, whatever. And so I start wandering the store, and rather than having a section for 4K Blu-rays, they're just mixed in. And that immediately...
so you find the movie that you want, and then they might have a 4K version with it.
That sounds exhausting. It was just like, no.
It's a lot of work.
This is way too much work. Do you guys have like a list or something that I can look at? And it came down to it. Turns out, I guess there are only 2 movies that I actually want to see in 4K. and they
you
didn't.
You at first thought there was more.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, I want to see this in 4K and that. And after a while, you're like, actually, you know what? I don't care about any of this. These are the 2 movies I wanted to see. And they were both rented.
Aww.
So I couldn't get those.
What a waste.
Yeah. And so I walked along the new release wall, and I was like, whatever. And then they have one of those rooms with the swinging saloon doors.
Okay.
Yeah. So didn't go back there.
Okay, gotcha.
Don't know what they have.
Family Video.
No.
What is the name then?
Well, it's for all ages, I guess. And so
so disappointing.
I felt I don't know.
He's like, what's in the saloon door area? Don't go there.
It's not a bar. And there's not a playing piano back there. So I ended up walking. It actually was the full Blockbuster Video experience, because I used to go into Blockbuster Video, wander around for an hour, and walk out with nothing.
Yeah.
Just why to this day there are no Blockbusters, except in Alaska. And I had the whole experience again. I was overwhelmed. They had just so much selection. They didn't have anything that I wanted, and they had a ton of candy up front.
Perfect.
And it had that smell of like old cardboard. And
cleaner.
The one thing I did think was pretty great is that if you don't want a disc, they had a big section up front where they were just selling the codes.
Oh, that's nice.
So, like, if you wanted, I mean, not any new release, but almost any new release.
Just buy the code.
There they had it, and the codes, for the most part, were $5 a piece. looking at that, I was like, man, that is actually
pretty good
a
deal.
really good deal if you just wanted to come in here and buy a couple of download codes and watch a movie.
Well, don't go back to a movie store again.
I'm not going back.
Just buy it online. Just get over that, or buy it on Amazon.
Like the movie that I wanted to watch in 4K, I did not buy it. I didn't buy it.
Sure.
But it was $15 online in 4K, and it was like, this rental is $4.
You're close enough.
I have to drive back down here in order to return it. After a while, it stopped making sense. By the way, the lady did say goodbye to me on the way
when
out.
you left.
So that was a win for our side.
We thought about selling the worst of the riot, but let's be honest, no one is buying this stuff. Get it for free on the RadioU app.
Nikki, according to this research from UC Davis, serving coffee at a meeting focuses group discussion and boosts involvement.
Oh, my goodness.
That
Wow.
means from
That's
now
you.
on, every meeting we have should take place at a coffee shop.
At a coffee shop or where you could bring it in.
Researchers at Obadiah University say, based on recent research from UC Davis, that all meetings should take place in coffee shops now.
And if someone at least brings in a cold brew with peppermint, that would be even better.
Discovered the increased level of alertness brought on by the coffee.
That's not fair, though.
Is the mechanism for positive effects.
I don't normally drink coffee.
We'll get
so
you a Dr. Pepper
Someone
then.
needs to bring in something else that works for my meetings.
And what do you want?
Well, I don't know. I have to think about it.
Yeah, it'll be something weird
You're
that's
like,
hard
what
to
is
get.
this Sprite Zero sweet?
Coffee's available everywhere. And you know what? We've got, is there any of that vanilla left? We'll get you a
pour it
2 liter
in.
of Sprite Zero. You pour in your vanilla, you'll be golden.
I could have like a whole long line of different flavorings that we could add to any of our drinks.
Or we could just finally install a freestyle machine.
Freestyle machine,
We could finally just
I think that's what we're looking for.
rip the Band-Aid off.
We have
get
studio
that
space.
freestyle machine
we
in
have
there.
so much space in the corner that's just not using. We're just letting it go to waste. We could hook up a Coke freestyle machine. I don't know why we don't have it.
$10,000 and the retainer that we have to pay for.
Is that how much it is?
Well, no. Let me. I said that wrong. You have to have a $10,000 standing retainer with a plumber for repairs.
Really?
That's just the start.
You looked into this, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I
really want one.
I wanted to know. I wanted to know what it was going to
okay,
take.
so we have some sort of, like the Sprinkles cupcake ATM that they have in different cities.
Yeah.
What if we put our Coke Freestyle on the outside of the building? Then you guys can come along, you put your money in, a cup comes out, and then you could fill up with what you want, and then it closes up.
My question, though, it must be a lot to maintain because everywhere I go, like you can't hit a Coke Freestyle machine for less than like $1.89. It's usually $2.29, and that. I mean, granted, like if you're at a real fancy place like an Applebee's or a Chili's, you're
real
probably
fancy there, real fancy.
You're probably paying $2.99 for your
a soda.
sodas, but for a walk-up kind of deal, $2.29 is a pricey amount there.
Well, you can tell because we have a fast food establishment near our studios. They have a Coke Freestyle machine, and they don't appreciate it. They don't maintenance it. They don't clean it. They don't actually fill it up, and there's a difference.
Wait, where was that at?
The one right over there. It's Royalty.
Oh, really?
No, the Burger King. I'll just say it. Fine.
Okay.
The Burger King over there.
Because the
their
thing is,
freestyle machine's terrible every
there's
time.
a White Castle and a Burger King, and my thought was like,
the White Castle's always fine.
I know, because that's if I'm going to get a freestyle, a lot of times I go there, and that is actually a very well maintained.
I feel underused. I don't know why, if just people don't realize, but
because all the old people go over there and drink coffee, and nobody gets
goes
soda
in there. But at the Burger King that's near us, man, it's never working.
Oh well. Nikki, here's the thing. You should never go to Burger King.
And I should never go in.
Never. I heard somebody make one of those Chuck Norris jokes the other day where like Chuck Norris goes to Burger King and actually gets his Whopper. And I was like,
that does make sense.
Right? That really is a thing because you never, ever get your food at Burger King.
But so I can tell the difference of some places maintain theirs and some do not.
But okay, you know what? While we're on this, let's take a deep dive. Do you remember when we were at that Burger King? I don't know if you were there, but I know that at least Michael was there because the manager was there. And I asked them, hey, are you guys going to get a freestyle machine? And do you remember how angry he got when I asked him that question?
I don't think I was there, but I remember hearing the story.
He was mad about it. Like, you gotta have so many flavors. When I was your age, we were glad we could even have dirty water.
We were walking to school with just one flavor.
And he was
mad.
Actively angry about the freestyle machine. So if you tell me that guy does not maintain it, I have no problem believing that. No problem.
Even though they eventually bowed down and got one.
You guys see how we went from coffee at meetings to
say, is there anything else
5
on
minutes
that?
on freestyle machines?
We'll leave it at this. If you're having a meeting, bring some sort of beverage in with you, and you'll probably have more productivity.
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
Yesterday, I had the most expensive cup of coffee that I've ever had.
And this was brought to you by Hudson.
Yeah. I don't know what exactly the brand was, but here's the deal. Hudson's mom, she works for a company or a coffee shop or something where she gets a bunch of free coffee. Mm-hmm. And it's not always just like, here, these are the beans we used, but you can use them again. It's not like that. It's new coffee. And so it was whiskey coffee. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to put a little coffee in my whiskey. Or whiskey in my coffee.
It's whiskey barrels.
So the idea is they take these beans and they put them in whiskey barrels. And I guess they sit for a year or whatever, and then you buy the beans. $35 a bag.
That seems a lot.
Which means that's the most expensive coffee I've ever had.
You've never had the the civet coffee or that sort of type? That tends to be a little bit more expensive.
I feel like at some point we just need to do that, though. Let's get the civet poop coffee.
But that tends to be what people bring up as one of the most expensive ones. This, though, at $30-something a bag, that's a lot.
Became the most expensive coffee I'd ever had. And kudos for Hudson for, one, being willing to share it. And 2, for French pressing a cup for me.
He's been doing that in the break room.
He French presses his coffee every day when he comes in.
Seems like every afternoon he has this little French press setup going on.
Which is cool, and I appreciate it. And I appreciated the fact that he, shared his coffee with me like that.
So you just had it straight? Nothing else in it?
No cream, no sugar. It didn't need it.
Was it too strong or bitter, or was it okay?
Nope. No. He did tell me that he made it not as strong as he normally does because I am known as a coffee wimp around these parts, which is funny because if you go and spend some time with my family, they think I make my coffee way too strong.
And you're the one who's been into coffee for quite some time.
So, yeah, it was fantastic. Good? It really, really was.
Well, what do you think the whiskey barrel does? Like, does it infuse it with whiskey flavor? Does it help with some of the bitterness? What does it do?
I believe it's supposed to give it some whiskey flavor, I guess. I don't know. I will say it didn't... I didn't feel like it tasted like whiskey, but it did smell like it. But it had a flavor. But it's kind of like when you get, like Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce? Like there's a flavor there, but it's not like you go down to Fridays for Jack Daniel's barbecue and you're like, I need someone to drive me home.
It's not like that. I gotcha.
It was really good. The only thing I will say, and this could be unrelated, I don't know, but I had that coffee. That was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and about 6 o'clock. And I'm not making this up. Just out of nowhere, I just had insane heartburn.
Really?
Yes.
Probably
and
that.
I wonder if it's the coffee.
I'm sure it was.
I was just sitting on the couch, and I was just like,
that's the whiskey barrels coming back at you.
I was just like, oh, my gosh, I really don't feel good. Like, I don't know. What is the deal? And
Did you ask Hudson? Did he get heartburn or anything?
I haven't asked him. And that's not, just to be clear, that's not like a regular thing for me. It was a weird event. And the only thing that I had to eat in between the coffee and that was I had a turkey sandwich.
No, it had to have been the coffee.
It had to have been the coffee, right?
Oh, great, too. You're like, hey, how was the coffee? You're like, great, but I don't think I can have it anymore.
Well,
it's like I got heartburn.
To be clear, I don't think he wanted to share any more of it with
Lauren,
me.
You don't know I'm going to buy it.
I think that was it. I think you get a taste of it, and then you have to start buying your own.
Listen to your body, okay? It was telling you something.
Something was not working there.
It wants to go back to the cheaper coffee.
Yeah, but man, be that as it may, it was delicious.
Good.
And it's got me thinking I should get a French press.
I think you should.
I think I should, too.
You got everything else. You got like a little coffee pot. You got your cold brew.
You have everything else. This is the only thing you lack.
You got your little Keurig. You got your coffee pot. You got your everything else. So,
Well,
yeah, why not add to it?
I need a French press, an air press. There's a few things I need now.
Well, I'm sure if you buy a kit, there's probably something that comes together.
Yeah. Maybe I should do that.
Get a French press or use his here.
Yeah.
Make a little monthly donation for the use of it.
Yeah. You know what I'll tell you what I should really do. Like, real talk is just find something to buy today. Like,
If you found it.
If I could spend some money on something and just get that feeling back.
In a 4K Blu-ray, you're set.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Chief, she's...
Coffee and contemplation.
And the riot. Obviously. Radio U.
It is the riots on Radio U, 877-2 Radio U. Remember, you can text, you can call. Nikki and I are here. It's a thing. I mean, sometimes Nikki's in here watching Cobra Kai on YouTube Red, but we're still here.
No, I'm not.
Because that's your man.
I watched the
entire season in 2 days.
It's small, and you can scrub through it, but
5 hours.
It wasn't a big deal, and I don't want to be associated with it.
In my
I didn't
mind,
like it.
In my mind, you're married to it.
Yeah, apparently I'm just one and the other.
When I see Cobra Kai, my brain is like Nikki.
Because I happen to watch it.
Cobra Nikki.
But yes, they announced that Cobra Kai season 2 is in the works.
I got another one for you.
What is it?
You know how it is, like YouTube, Amazon, Netflix. Nobody will tell you how many people are watching their shows.
Sure. Now, with Cobra Kai, you got to see the numbers of the first 2 episodes.
You did.
Because that is a normal YouTube video, but the rest of the series was YouTube Red.
Yeah.
So you can't judge it. You can't say, it had 10 million for its first episode. It must have done amazing. That was just that one. You can't tell the rest.
Well, and that's the thing is with Netflix, you've got no way to know. And they won't tell you. And the interesting thing to me is that unlike, when you watch ABC or something, Netflix knows exactly how many people watch something.
And they know, when you tuned out.
Yes.
What you went and watched after it. The data on that must be fascinating to go through.
And they say that. That's actually why they will say that, they have the best audience analytics in the world.
And they don't share.
Because they know everything about it. And that's why they keep making Adam Sandler movies, because they say no matter what anyone says,
you still watch
people watch it.
That's exactly true.
It's bizarre. But how about this? Now, that means that there are all these third parties that are coming in or okay, we're doing what the Nielsen's do. We're having people fill out diaries and tell us what they're watching, et cetera, et cetera. One of those companies is called Parrot Analytics, and they have been, keeping track of online streaming for a while. Here's what they say. They say that according to their research, for the week of May 6th through the 12th, Cobra Kai was the most watched online item out there.
I could see that. I could see it, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So, and
now
it says,
they're not being specific, saying how much.
Right. Still,
you could have just watched a little, but you're in the most watched category.
Still doesn't. And the thing is, I'll have to say, reading through their document of what it means, I don't completely understand it, because the way the headlines are selling it is more people watched Cobra Kai than The Handmaid's Tale. But that, when you dig in, that's not what they're saying. They're saying that during this 1 week,
when it came
more
out,
people watched it than watched, 13 Reasons Why and The Handmaid's Tale. And they say more people watched it than Lost in Space. But that doesn't mean that overall it has had the most.
Sure, but just during its week out.
But what they are saying is that Cobra Kai is the one.
And I still feel
that is their YouTube Red finally has a kind of hit.
It was not that good. It was not. And that doesn't matter, though.
So, okay, now according to this, I love this. They can look at audience demand. Mm-hmm. They say your usual audience demand, and I don't know exactly what they mean by that term. For YouTube Red is roughly 2 million viewers, and Cobra Kai had over 50, is what they're saying. They're saying somewhere in the neighborhood of 52 million viewers versus the 2.
And I felt it probably started people looking at other Karate Kid stuff, because then when I went to Amazon, they had a big banner for the Karate Kid movies.
Right.
And I was like, because they're trying to get people to go back and watch that.
So,
because they showed enough of it during Cobra Kai.
Here's what I think.
That was filler.
I think season 2, I have no idea what season 1 looks like. I didn't look at it, but I'll bet it gets a bigger budget.
I'm sure.
And maybe,
Even though I still feel deep down it was probably already filmed.
You think it's done?
I'm sure it was already done.
Well, if it is, maybe they'll go back and add some special effects now.
Maybe that's it. It's on fire.
Like Cobra Kai and the LaRusso Dojo bury the hatchet to fight the dinosaurs that come.
That's right. It's got a whole new twist. It's like a Jurassic Park thing.
You never know. I don't know. I still haven't watched it. I mean, I'm sure one day.
I don't feel like you have to. I still don't. You're okay.
What, because you just want it all for yourself?
Want to know what the Riot is doing right now? Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at riot.radiou.com. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, I want to ask you to betray a friend.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
ready and willing.
You do it to me almost every day.
I do not. Every so often I might say something, but it's just in jest.
Mm-hmm.
I stand by you all the time.
Stand by your man.
Yep.
Give him 2 arms to cling to.
Always happy to
and
help you
something
out.
warm to come to.
Aww.
When nights are cold.
Oh,
and
it's so
lonely.
nice.
Why do I know
that song? Why do you? What
I can
is
tell
in
you
your
right
head?
now. It's in the Blues Brothers.
Is it?
That's why I know it. It's a Patsy Cline song, I think, as sung by
all right. Well, who
Dan Aykroyd.
Who else am I betraying?
What are we talking about?
Get back on focus.
Get my brain back on track.
Go back on track.
Okay, betraying a friend.
Yeah, Apple or
Amazon. The other A.
Sure.
Think about this right now. What does Amazon do for you aside from 2-day shipping?
Nothing. They do nothing for me.
Okay.
But I'm too afraid. Like, I order a lot.
Think about this, though, for a minute, okay? We've got Walmart is about to, they say, relaunch, and they're doing 2-day shipping. I think they may already be doing something like that. And they say when their website's done, it's going to look almost exactly like Amazon.
But the question is the 2-day shipping thing a part of their, like, Prime membership, or is it just no matter what? Or order a certain amount?
Okay, I don't know for sure about the Walmart thing. But I know that they have something in place to compete with Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Target just announced that their restock service, which is next day delivery, is going nationwide. Now, of course, that doesn't mean it's everywhere because nationwide doesn't mean the whole nation.
That's silly.
Yeah. But they say in most markets, they're able to service approximately 75% of the population. And they say you can get next day delivery for $2.99.
See, I don't want that. I don't need it next day, which is why I'm not going to Target, like just to the actual store.
So what?
You can give me 2 days. I want it to be a promise. That's just my negative with Amazon. A lot of times I get 2-day shipping, but they're lying about when it starts to actually ship. So when it ships, it's 2 days, but it might take it a week to actually ship.
Okay, we'll get a load of this though. Listen to this is a pretty good breakdown. How about this? You can pack, like they say that this restock service has 35,000 household items.
It's like Amazon Pantry.
Kind of, except I get the feeling that it's a little broader than Pantry is. Mm-hmm. I think there are more things you can get. But they say you can ship 45 pounds of stuff to your house for $2.99.
Okay.
It's pretty...
Yeah, I just don't.
That's pretty good, right?
I don't shop that way for my house. I usually go to Costco. It's like I'll get it there myself. Right. I don't know. I feel like I would leave Amazon and betray them for maybe Walmart because I feel like the prices will be cheaper. I've just never been one in love with Target. So I don't feel like that's enticing me. But it's just me.
Okay, but I want you for a minute. I want you to abandon your brand loyalty.
Yes, my loyalties.
If someone can provide you the same services for less than $120 a year.
Yes.
Which is what Amazon is charging right now.
Sure. I don't know.
Why not? I know.
I'm not getting
You're too hooked in. But I'm telling you that you don't watch their video on demand service.
Sometimes I put things in the queue. I do.
Exactly
I do.
that.
And every so
exactly
often there's a show
said.
that comes out. It's like Netflix. I just can't cancel it.
I am starting to get to a place
where you're going to just turn on Amazon.
I'm thinking I might not need Amazon Prime.
Well,
the only time that ready
to say that.
I use it. Sure. Like I actually use it quite a bit, but it's starting to look like if I was willing to, I could probably do without it.
But I'm not ordering like 45 pounds worth of stuff. I order like one thing and then I'm terrible. I'm like 10 minutes later. Oh, I think I need something else. And then I order something I order lots of little things quite often.
I might be able to save you a lot of money.
Oh, listen, You're like a car dealer.
I might be able to really help you.
Yeah, let's see what we can do later, all right?
So between Target and Walmart, I'm saying
there might be other options.
Maybe we don't need it. Oh, crap, but I got my Kindle. But there's no shipping on that, so it's fine. I don't have to worry about that.
Wish the worst of the riot would never end?
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
What is wrong with you? Get our daily podcast through iTunes, Google Play, or the RadioU app.
You know, it seems like some families have all the luck. You know, they're just in the right place at the right time all the time. And Nikki just finds herself sitting there like, man, why wasn't that me?
Why can't I be the one with all the good luck?
Did you see the family that thought they had a Tibetan Mastiff puppy?
Oh, and it was a bear? See, I told Eric, he sent that to me. This is not the first time coming out of China that we've seen. We thought it was a dog, but it's a bear story. This has happened before. I don't know if it's just the particular breed.
One word for you. Relocate.
I know, because apparently he's like, why are Tibetan Mastiffs used to be, if not the most expensive dog that you could have. I owned a Mastiff at one point, but not a Tibetan one. But apparently they're more expensive to where even bears are cheaper.
Well, Su Yoon, she lives in a village in the Yunnan province. She said that her family bought what they thought was a Tibetan Mastiff puppy.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's big.
Yeah. And they're fluffy and they look a lot like bears.
They were amazed at how much the puppy would eat. 2 buckets of noodles a day plus a box of fruit.
Well, I mean, we could do that.
And she said then what they thought was a dog got to be over 250 pounds.
And they said it started to walk.
Stop growing, yes.
It started to walk on its legs like a bear
its
can.
Hind legs.
Yeah.
Problem. So they have now given the bear up to a wildlife center, which we all know is Chinese for barbecue restaurant.
I hope not. It was actually an Asiatic black bear, and hopefully it is still okay.
Well, this happened, Nikki, you're very astute. This is the second person in the last 2 years that also thought that he was buying a Mastiff, and he ended up buying a bear.
Well, again, the Tibetan Mastiffs, there's so much money. I think they're upwards into almost the hundreds of thousands of dollars and I know they're not as expensive as they used to be, but in order to get money, they're probably getting these bears and they can get the cash because people think they're buying it.
Well, he actually didn't buy his. He was foraging for mushrooms.
And he found
a little cub that he thought was a lost puppy.
It's not. It's a bear.
And he ended up with a bear.
I really want a Tibetan Mastiff. They are adorable.
Why don't you just get a bear? They're cheaper.
Yes, and then I would just lie and tell everybody because I can't have a bear.
Says who?
I thought our county laws can't let you.
County law?
I'm not filing for its paperwork.
Well, as long as
whatever setup I need.
I think as long as you put a collar on it, you're fine.
And I own a bear, and as long as he has his shots and it's not too big. Here are the states where anyone can keep a tiger, a monkey, or a bear as a pet.
Okay.
So I guess I can look into that.
You should take a look.
I don't want a bear.
Just move to the Yunnan province, and they're just giving them away.
Just little baby ones.
They're just out there. You just go for a walk. You're always out looking for mushrooms. So
I am? I don't think I am.
Go out foraging, just like this man did, and you got yourself a cub.
I feel
big deal.
if I get a bear, I'm going to have to
take care of it and love it and hug it and squeeze it.
I'm going to have an animal center or something. They're going to make you have that.
Wait. And do you mean at your? Are you saying
the outside ones where it's like, oh, I had a tiger and a bear, and you just have to keep them and the things. I can't just have it inside my house.
Nikki,
it's going to eat my cats.
See, I feel like if you find your animal center, you'll discover your inner bear.
If it was only a bear and that was the only animal I had, I wouldn't be worried.
Well, okay. Here's the other thing. All right. So what if it ate a cat? You have so many, would you even notice?
I have 2 cats.
How long would it take you to notice what the bear ate the cat?
Gosh.
And would you be mad at your bear for doing what came naturally?
I don't know. And if I got him young enough, would he even know that natural thing?
Do you think, I know what it is. If you roll up a newspaper and you swat the bear, he won't know it's you. He'll think the paper is what's doing it.
I swear.
So he'll be angry at the paper.
It's hate perfect. Talking pets
it's
with
perfect.
You. I hate talking pets with you.
I have all of the behavior modification you need to have a bear.
Who even has that to be able to hit him with?
You go out behind the 7-Eleven, they throw them all away.
They
you just take a couple. Yeah.
All right. Well, no plans on that, but for the family, sorry you had a bear. But that was great. You had 2 years with a bear.
Nikki's like, sorry, it wasn't me.
Remember when we said things couldn't get any worse? We were wrong. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Nikki, the other day I was talking to Dr. Russell Foster. You remember him, right?
Dr. Russell Foster.
Head of the Nuffield Lab of Ophthalmology at Oxford. Mm-hmm. You know, he calls all the time. Text, just won't stop texting.
Almost to being a bother.
Yeah, but, you know, when you're that high up in the organization, you have a tendency to pay attention to what they have to say and give them a little more leeway. It's like they say, you know, if your professor is a doctor, what are you supposed to give them 15 minutes before you don't, like you leave class?
Sure.
That varies from organization to organization. But take a little look at people, Nikki, and he says that we are giving rise to what he calls the indoor generation.
Yeah.
25% of Americans spend almost all day inside.
Sure.
So he is saying that as Americans, 25% of us spend between 21 and 24 hours per day indoors.
Well, I think it's hard. I'm getting conflicting things.
Right here.
Because
right here.
You work inside.
Yep.
Unless you have an outside job, you can't help that. So
right.
You work, most of your day is going to, by way of that, is indoors.
Yep.
The other part of your day is sleeping. That's also going to be indoors.
Yep.
So I don't know what they expect us
Well,
to
that's
do.
16 hours right there.
I remember stranger danger, so I don't want to go out too much.
What if someone talks to you that's not supposed to talk to you?
And I'm not supposed to be spending my money on like restaurants and stuff. I'm supposed to be eating in the house.
But that would be indoors too.
So it's indoors too. So what do they expect us to be able to do?
Get the heck outside.
I mean,
they say that it's affecting our physical and mental health.
Because we don't get enough vitamin D?
Well, they say that indoor air is typically more polluted than outdoor air.
Oh, allergies too. We cannot go outside until the allergy alerts are done.
I was going to say, these people should talk to my allergist. He's like, you got to change that filter every month, sometimes more. Make sure you buy the good ones.
But maybe we have allergy problems because no one spends time outside, and then if you got used to it, it wouldn't bother you as much.
Let me tell you, someone that had an outside job, and I apologize to all of you that do, because I'm about to let Nikki in on something you already know. It sucks
to be outside. I mean, sometimes we go sit outside and work. We did that a couple years ago when we had the picnic table.
I still do that.
Yeah, you sit by the sunshine.
Take my laptop and I'll go sit in the parking lot or behind the building.
I put my window up.
Yeah.
Fresh air.
It doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
I'm on the side of the building.
Outside.
It'll come in. I'm close enough.
All right. Indoor generation.
Oh, that hurts.
It hurts you bad, doesn't it? You're just like, don't say those things.
I look outside from the window. I'm like, oh, it looks so nice outside. Still not going out.
I don't know. I'm with you, though. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do to get outside more?
Maybe when the sun sets and things don't bother as much. Am I supposed to go outside?
I guess. I don't know. Like, you know what? I felt like an old man. I sat on my porch last night. It was nice after the rain.
Doing what?
Well, that's just it.
On your phone?
Nope. I actually very purposefully left all of my electronics inside, and I didn't even take a book. I wanted to force myself to spend at least 15 minutes
outside with quiet.
No stimulation other than what the natural world would bring me.
Don't you think neighbors would think you're weird then, just sitting
Nobody
outside?
Nobody else was outside. They were inside watching TV.
They're the insides.
So it was fine. I live by a bunch of insides. So when I went outside, it was like, oh, I guess this is why no one comes outside, because there's no one to talk to.
I think it'd be nice maybe around lunch we took like a trip around the office park or something.
Stroll around the room?
Yeah. I mean, and only to what I could still wear my flip-flops with. I'm not bringing shoes. Change into.
Wouldn't want it to be too extreme.
No, I wouldn't want it.
The Riot spent their entire advertising and promotion budget on catering and craft services.
The junk that guy eats has finally caught up with him.
So please tell your friends. It's The Riot on Radio U.
Off air, he's been laughing at a joke that you never actually said out loud.
Nope.
So what's the joke? If you can even convey it.
Well, Nikki, sometimes
it's a private joke just with you in your head.
When you're doing weather,
yeah,
almost every time that you say thunder,
yeah,
I immediately
go down
think
under.
Yep. And it's not a good joke. It's not really funny, but I was kind of laughing at the fact that I was laughing about it, because I do that sometimes. Don't you guys ever get disappointed in yourself for thinking something's funny? Like something happens and I want to laugh at it, and I'm like, it's so lowbrow. I can't stop laughing.
Just how it is.
And I have we don't even have time to go through all of them. But I don't know if maybe you could tell me if your brain works like this. But all day long when people are talking to me, like I am constantly making jokes. It reminds me of a reference, like a song, a movie, a something, and it all the time.
All the time?
And when it really gets revved up, it almost drives me crazy.
No, see, when someone's talking to me, I'm just
it's
focusing.
Quiet for you?
Yeah, it's quiet, and I'm just listening to what they're saying.
No, I think that it's been this job, the funny thing about working in radio is that you have to be ready at any time with a comeback.
A joke.
You have to be ready now. Like, you can't not have a thing. And so when people are talking, I have just trained myself, and it's hard sometimes because, like an interview, for example, when the person you're interviewing gets done talking, you're supposed to have the next thing to talk about, but you also have to be ready to respond to what they've said. And sometimes my conversations get a little too much like that, where it's like I'm trying to listen to somebody and I'm trying real hard to focus on just what they're saying, but I'm also singing a song and quoting a movie
at the same time
about what they're talking about.
No wonder you're exhausted. It's hard for you.
It is. And I go through times where it's not like that.
Yeah.
But then I have days where we do the weather 4 times an hour. And every time
I say thunder,
you say thunder, I'm like, I just want to say, you mean the thunder from down under? Or various twists on that.
Sure.
So then he's like, thunder. I'll be like, where are we, down under? Or you make an Australia joke about it. Or like, good day, Nikki. I'm the thunder.
No one's happy about any of those, I don't think.
Oh, you would have liked it. It would have been, you would have laughed at it in a that's really dumb kind of way.
But I'm here for you.
And
I'll still laugh.
The thing is that I was preemptively laughing at how dumb it was and preventing myself from making said joke. I held back, but I couldn't keep on point enough to talk about, the next important thing. Yeah.
All right, well, just a reminder, that's how Obi's brain works. So if you're ever talking with him, like, what's going on in there?
Well, hopefully you're not thinking that because I am making eye contact and nodding.
And listening and paying attention.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
You're showing up and probably working just as hard or harder than this guy, but your life is worth a fraction of what his is.